All right, today's demonstration is beginning details for the feathers in my little bird. First thing that I'm doing is just kind of giving myself some markings. I'm using a tool that is called just a sculpting tool. And one of the things that I do when I first start, I guess, with texture is just kind of give it some lines. I'm paying attention to the direction of those feathers. And I'm just going to start indenting it a bit. I can also go in with multiple different angles. I also have a tool where I'm just going to indent it. It's good to have multiple different types of texture to give the illusion of feathers or texture that you're working for. So I'm using different ends and different angles to push it in. And then I'm also going to go over it just a little bit and make sure that it doesn't have crumbles. But as I'm looking at the top of his head, the first thing that I notice is that he has the direction of his hair is kind of parallel to the top or going sideways. So I'm just going to give some indentations. And then I smooth over that with my hand. And another thing that I'll be doing is the feathers right in here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just give some indentations of where I want that to go. And then I'm going to bring in some techniques that are really helpful. So I'm looking at that picture and I'm just trying to indent around the side here. You'll notice that that top feather right in here is gonna pop out more than those that are on the bottom. So one of the techniques that I use is I am just taking a flat tool and I'm going to push the clay down around those feathers I just started. So I'm sort of removing that clay, or you could say I'm also pushing it around to another side. I'm going to smooth over that. Again, I'm trying to remove or push clay away from the feathers that I'm creating right now. And what I'm doing is trying to create a sense of depth. When you do that, you make it look realistic in the aspect of the feathers begin to pop out in a way that make it look like they're higher up, or I guess they stick out more than those that are on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to try to get a little closer here so you're able to see. I'm just using a metal sculpting tool. Another tool that's helpful is a mini loop tool or a ribbon tool. This is also meant to pull off clay. So again, I'm removing clay around where that main feather is, the top feather, just so I can start making it look like it pops out. Okay, so as you look here, you can see it's sort of popping out. And that's going to help give a sense of depth. Now I have a bit of his wing here that I need to show. So I'm going to make sure that that looks like it's popping out. And I'm just removing some clay around there. Sorry, I'm not doing a very good job staying in the camera view. Just go back a little farther. So I'm trying to mimic what I see right in here. And I see multiple different layers of feathers in here, but the first thing I want to do is be able to create these feathers right on top. And I'm just removing a little bit of clay right around that area. Smooth out any of the details that I've done. I've also got my stylus tool that is helpful in smoothing out some of those areas. And if you're carving and you accidentally create a little hole, clay is very forgiving. You just add a little piece of clay right on top of where you have a piece of clay missing. I'm trying not to go too deep, but I also have extra clay handy in case I make a mistake. Okay, so you can see the indentations to create that sense of depth. This tool right here is also going to help me create feathers. Now watch, I'm just going to push in here. And I'm indenting. And I'm pushing in the same kind of direction. And I'm creating feathers while I'm doing that. So get up closer so you can see some of the feathers that are being created. Smooth out some of this. Okay. So we're creating the illusion of feathers. All right, so that's a good start for my bird. Try to compare the two, starting to see some depth in between those little feathers and definite texture in there. And those are some of the details that we're looking for. So using your different tools and kind of just going around and improvising. I've never done a bird before. I'm just kind of picking different tools that I think are gonna work for me.